Hey everybody, it's Brandon with STEM Tutoring. Today we're going to try to understand what algebra is. But before that, let's briefly talk about arithmetic. This is an equation that you might see in school, and basically what you need to do is take the numbers on the left side and multiply, add, subtract, or divide them in a specific order to find out what they equal. In order to tell which order to do each operation in, we use something called the order of operations, PEMDAS, parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, and then addition, subtraction. It's not so important what the exact order is. It's just important that everybody agrees on which order to follow. After you know which order to follow and everybody agrees on that, then you could calculate what the answer to this equation is, like this. So you could basically do parentheses first. That's at the beginning. So we would calculate whatever's inside the parentheses. 6 minus 4 is 2. And then we're left with 3 times 2 plus 5. And then we can go back to the order of operations. We see that there are no more parentheses. There are no exponents. Multiplication, division. We do have 3 times 2, so we need to do that. That's the next operation that we'll do. And then finally, we can do addition and subtraction at the very end to get 11. So this is how you would solve just a normal problem in an arithmetic class. All algebra is changing the order or changing what you're finding. So instead of trying to find the output based on what a bunch of inputs added, multiplied, subtracted, or divided are, what we're doing is we know what the output has to be, and we're trying to find one of the inputs. That's all we're doing with algebra. Now, you could represent this number that we're trying to find with a question mark, a blank space, anything you want, really. It doesn't matter. It's just used to represent that we don't know what it is and we need to find that. What they typically do in class is represent it with X or Y or Z or any other letter, really. And the reason they do that is so that they have multiple letters to choose from in case we need to represent multiple unknowns in an equation. So if you only use one symbol, like a question mark, you wouldn't be able to extrapolate that very well. Whereas if you have X, you can use X, Y, Z, whatever you need. Now, in order to solve this, we need to think a little bit differently than normal. We're still doing the order of operations, but we actually have to do them backwards now. In other words, we have to do arithmetic backwards. So we can think about this with the order of operations, and instead of doing them in the normal way, we're actually going to have to do them the opposite way. So I'll try to give you an idea for what I mean by that. So for this algebraic equation now, where we're trying to find one of the inputs rather than the output like before, we have to think a little bit differently. So instead of just adding up all of these things on the left, what you have to do is you have to say, how can we get the thing on the left to equal the thing on the right? That's really our goal. We want to find x so that the entire expression after you apply the order of operations equals 11. So one way you could look at this is you can say that addition is the last operation, so that would be this plus 5 here, and you could say what number plus 5 has to equal 11. Another way to answer that is what is 11 minus 5? So basically that would be 6. So if this number here is 6, then you would have a true equation. 6 plus 5 does equal 11. So now our next kind of statement, after we reason backwards for that step, is now this. Now we know that whatever this is, 3 times x minus 4 has to equal 6. Well, we can do the same kind of thing. We can go in the opposite order. We have parentheses and multiplication now, and multiplication is the last thing that we would normally do. So now we can focus on that. What would this number now have to be inside of the parentheses in order for 3 times it to equal 6? And obviously it would have to be 2. And then using that, you know that this, whatever's inside the parentheses here, now must be equal to 2. So x minus 4 has to equal 2. And then finally, you can ask yourself, okay, what subtracted by 4 equals 2? And then the final answer there, another way to think about that is what is 2 plus 4 if you add 4 to both sides. And the answer there, hopefully, should be clear. That would be 6. So here we're still doing arithmetic. We're just doing it backwards for algebra. That's the only thing that's new. And you can also plug this into the original equation and verify that you get the correct answer. So if you substitute in 6 for x, you see that you get 6 minus 4, which is 2, times 3 is 6, plus 5 is 11. So that will satisfy an equation. So this was just a brief intro video to help you understand what algebra is. Be sure to stick around for the most important 3 steps that you're going to need to solve almost any algebra problem you'll see in class, and I can guarantee you'll use this hundreds or thousands of times during school. So be sure to stick around for that. See you next time.